All right, we'll stay in the ACC on this one. Georgia Tech at Clemson. Is this a must-win for Dabo Swinney here?
Oh, no, this is Clemson at Georgia Tech.
Clemson at Georgia Tech.
In Atlanta, at Bobby Dodd, baby. Haynes and Haynes, let's go.
The law firm that is.
I still think Clemson wins this game. Like, as much as I love the law firm and I love what Haynes King is all about, I love what this team is all about. I think this is like a get-right game for Clemson, if that makes any sense. So the points we were talking about earlier, Cade Klubnik looks a little shaky, gets called out by his head coach in the public. It's been a good start, but not a great start for Clemson. Obviously, the D versus an F grading for the LSU game that Dabo Swinney put out there, Brian Kelly, those guys having a lot of fun with that. Honestly, I just think Clemson defensively will have the right answers for Georgia Tech. The spread is 3.5 in the favor of Clemson. It's going to be a hostile environment, but I think Clemson gets the job done. The over-under is 54.5, and I think you guys know I love me some unders. Give me an under in this one. I think this is going to feel very leather helmet football. Georgia Tech kind of leans that way anyway, but give me Clemson like 20-17.
Here's the way that I view this. I know what I'm getting in Georgia Tech's offense. I know what I am. I know who they are as a program. I know what their identity is. I know they're going to run it. I know they're going to be physical. I know you're going to have a quarterback that will do everything in his power to yield his body forward to get into the end zone. And you also have two wide receivers that still have yet to have their big breakout performance in Rutherford and Eric Rivers. And I think that they will. I do. I just have this gut feeling that there are two names, and you throw in Dean Patterson, who had a good game last week against Gardner Webb. He's going to have to deliver, and one of them is going to have that marquee signature catch or big-time play. I think that when you look at Clemson right now, we don't know what their offensive identity is. We don't. We know they can't run the football to save their life. We know that they are dreadful at being able to win with play action pass. And I think that you also look at what's missing when it comes to that spark from Cade Klubnik. It's not there right now. And it took a while for it to get there last season. That pick game where he tucked and ran it and was able to evade the tackle to push forward for an easy touchdown and really kind of save Clemson's season. We haven't seen that just yet. And I think that when you don't know what the status is of Antonio Williams and you're banking a lot on Bryant Wesco and TJ Moore to have to be those guys against a not great, but not terrible secondary, and you don't have the ability to run the football, it's very challenging for me to buy stock into you. And I think that you got to remember last season, the identity was the reason we saw Georgia Tech hold its own against Miami and get the upset win. Take Georgia in Athens to, 7 overtimes? It's the culture that has been indoctrinated underneath Brent Key. And this was one of the best matchups that I said at the start of the year was going to have massive implications for the playoff. This was a matchup that I said was going to be very much a gotta-have moment just to prove that Georgia Tech has turned the corner and proven itself as a qualified team for the college football playoff. And this is a moment that I think is going to be massive for the ACC to guarantee it gets 2 qualified teams in for the postseason. And I'm not changing my pick. It's been Georgia Tech since the offseason. I'm sticking with Georgia Tech. Early kick. I know what I'm getting in the offense. I think the defense is going to do just enough to get the job done. I got a 24-21 final score. I think that you will see the Yellow Jackets hum their way to a victory at Bobby Dodd Stadium.
I'll get right back to the video, but first I want to tell you, I have gotten the alert from Apple on this Sleeper app, and I spent way too much time on it last week. The folks at Sleeper would probably disagree and say you didn't spend enough time, but Apple tells you how much time you spend on every app, and I might have to back it down just a little bit because I've been obsessed with consistently checking it for scores, taking the live more and less game that we play on the Power 2, which is live every Wednesday here on this channel at noon. You can do all that on the Sleeper app. You can read comments of fans that are flipping out when their team has a big play go against them or a big score or a big game result. Listen, if you're in the NFL, they've got eliminator leagues. They've got pick'em leagues. All of my friends have their fantasy football on the Sleeper app. And right now, we'll save you some money. We'll get you some extra money by using the code CFA. That's CFA gets you a 100% deposit match up to $100. Play the more or less game, make money with us every week, and really enjoy your time. It is your one-stop shop for all things college football, not only, but pro sports, European soccer, whatever you're looking for, they've got it. Sleeper app, check them out. Check their terms and conditions. Obviously, they apply. Read their terms of use. Appreciate Sleeper for their support. I would like to see the upset here. And even, I certainly don't dislike Clemson like I dislike, the other two rivals for Florida State. I'm pretty indifferent and don't really consider that same kind of rivalry. But yeah, I'd like to see Georgia Tech win this. I think it's great for college football. I love Brent Key a lot. I'm not a Dabo hater by any means. I picked Kate Klubnik as like QB1, even though that doesn't seem to be the case as we've been through, a sixth of the season so far. All that said, I want to know how truly healthy Haynes King is. And that's a tough thing to know. I thought Philo looked good. They were playing an absolute nobody. And I know he has experience from last year too. But if there's a chance that he's got to come in and take reps and he's got to come in and play, I do have a lot of faith in Clemson's defense. And that's where I think things get tricky. And that's why I would lean that unknown has me feeling a little bit more confident in Clemson. If Haynes King is 95+% and stays 95+% the entire game, doesn't get banged up, doesn't have to come out, they don't have to go to the backup, then I really do think that Georgia Tech has a great chance to win this thing. I do think things click for Clemson at some point this year. I think their schedule coming up after they play Georgia Tech is wildly easy until they get to November and have to play Florida State, Louisville, and South Carolina. And so they're going to win a lot of games one way or the other. The question to me is, does Clemson click before it's too late, or can they get it done now and really just need a split between Louisville and Florida State at the end of the year to earmark their way into Charlotte? So those are the questions I have going into this game. I'll lean Clemson with very little confidence out of what I've seen so far. The Haynes King, kind of injury or just being banged up, sitting out loud like that always is a little bit of a concern to me. And then, again, I do think Clemson clips, and maybe it's this week, maybe it's not. I'll go Clemson 24-21. So I'll just steal somebody else's score and reverse it a little bit. But
I would like to make a bold proclamation. There is no apple cider vinegar or anything like that. But if Georgia Tech wins this game, guaranteed 2 teams from the ACC will make the college football playoff, if not a third. This may be the year that you do get 3.